Good morning, everyone, and welcome to BSC News Live, and it's great to have you here. A little bit of a, well, hopefully special day today. I'm currently in the process of withdrawing core from Huobi Exchange, so we'll be able to delegate that live on stream. We'll also be making hopefully a little short video as well about how to do that, just in case you miss this live stream, which is understandable. I just need to enter a couple of sort of verification codes in Huobi to make sure it's done properly. And then we can do that. And then also in the second half of the stream, in about sort of 15-20 minutes or so, very special guest Binary X will be joining us, which should be very interesting indeed. I'm just going to triple check that I've entered all the verification codes in Huobi successfully, because it's saying that I have not. But Ben, are you ready, when you receive your core, which you'll withdraw yourself, to stake and delegate? Do you know what you're going to be doing with it?
Yes. So today I'm just going to get going. I'm going to delegate my core. But the thing to dive into next is there's already a DEX on core, and I'm going to look into the yields there. There's some immediate yield farming opportunity. I love DeFi, can't stay away. So going to put some delegate towards the blockchain, and then some I'll probably hold for yield farming with, because love that yield.
Of course. Fantastic. So I have just now withdrawn my core. So now I'm just literally waiting for Huobi to get back to me. Also, one question that I'm not sure about is I use a ledger for all of my EVM transactions, and I don't know. Oh, the little Bloxroot advertisement that's fine. I use a ledger for all my transactions, and I'm not sure if core has been added to ledger. So I'm going to need to double check that.
It might just, if you are, because it's EVM.
Oh, it's just going to be Ethereum, isn't it?
Ethereum, yeah. It should work automatically.
Yeah, okay. No, that's good. Great. So to get to the core DEX, how would we do that? So at the moment, I'm on stake.coredao.org. And then
so the DEX, yields are still between 45% and 200 on.
I can see that. Yeah.
The core DEX, it's not provided by Core. It's another project. I believe it's Ice Cream Swap. And I do want to start by saying this is not an endorsement of Ice Cream Swap.
Indeed.
I'm going to do my own research into them before I do anything. So never a good idea just to jump in and start throwing money into a yield farm. Always have to do due diligence. So I will first have to check out what they're all about before doing it.
Yeah. So Ice Cream Swap, it looks as though it supports quite alternative chains. BitGert, Doge, Doken, Fuse, XDC, obviously Binance, and Core as well.
Right now,
say something?
Yeah, so I've got their yield farms pulled up. The core USDT pool is 300% at the moment. Not a lot of liquidity, so that could drop very quickly. So again, it's very early. Honestly, it may not be, because you can get a good yield just delegating straight to core. It may not be worth taking that, beginner's risk in Ice Cream Swap. I tend to watch what other people like. I would rather wait 2 weeks, make sure everything's stable on Ice Cream Swap before I move my personal liquidity in. That's I'll let other people take the risk before I will. Right. So
good
listeners, that are new to DeFi, you don't need to just rush in because there's a big number involved. Take your time. Don't lose your investment. It's a risky space.
Oh, most certainly. And with a new token as well that has the potential to huge upside, but then obviously there's potential for it going down as well. I think having the pair of obviously a stable token and core, impermanent loss could be quite high. But impermanent loss is there with every sort of liquidity pair you create. So obviously, that's nearly 300%. But then if we go back to the actual official CoreDAO staking page, but I don't know as much about this as you do, but from the looks of it, you sort of stake with a validator, and then you get dividends from that validator. So at the moment, it looks as though DAO validator number 5 looks good. So nearly 169%, or all these ones at the bottom, and they take a commission of 5%. Is that correct?
Yeah, so they decide what basically these validators are competing with each other. So if you see some take 10%, some take 5%, some take even less. The top one that has the most deposits only takes 2%.
Okay.
So and something I don't know yet is is there a lockup? Some blockchains have a lockup time on unstaking from a validator.
Yeah.
I think we'll discover that when we try to stake.
Okay.
So it should tell you.
Yeah. At the whoa, some people have delegated a lot, 500,000. So Huobi are still saying the withdrawal for me is coming up as to be reviewed. So hopefully that happens quite soon. It can take obviously a little bit more time withdrawing from an exchange, but hopefully that's going to happen during the stream today, so we'll be able to have a play around. But yeah, I'm just going to click delegate and see what happens. It doesn't look from what I can see that there is a lockup time.
Yeah,
I can't see anything.
I don't think so. And if there is, it's not the end of the world. Like I think BNB chain, I think it's 7 days, 10 days.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think the reason for that is it adds stability to the network, right? Because if people could just like move validators all day long, it's probably going to create a little bit of chaos. So
yeah.
So maybe definitely. Core will bring the chaos. I don't know.
Who knows? And what is quite interesting as well, the the nodes or the validators that are offering, they're all very varied at the moment with varying APR, and you can sort of see maybe that between 268.31 and 269.5 is the sort of competition area with a commission percentage of 5%. Do you know if validators decide this APR themselves, or is this sort of automatically calculated by Core?
No, so I think it's automatically calculated, and kind of the reason the APR is lower on other ones is because there's simply more tokens delegated to them, so there's more people sharing the pot. So
I see. Okay.
Now that may say, well, why would you ever want to go for the top one? Like if you go to the lowest one, you're going to get the highest yield. However, as more validators get in competition, you have a risk of essentially being knocked down to inactive, right? So you could say I want the highest yield, but then you got to monitor it constantly. Whereas if you just throw it at node providers at the top, you probably don't have to worry about it. And all these other ones will, over time, they're going to get to almost identical APRs. Like the market will take care of itself here. It's just early.
So I suppose perhaps a wise thing to do might be not to go with one of the ones that are, right at the very top of APRs, but maybe sort of in the middle. There's less risk of it being inactive, like this one at the bottom here, which is DAO Validator 15, which has by quite a bit the highest APR, but it's currently
not really
inactive.
paying. Yeah, it's not paying an APR.
Exactly.
So you've got 52,000 core not earning there. So you know, that might be Validator 15 might own all of that. And so he just staked it to get on this list, and some people could eventually add to it. Now, would you add to an inactive, thing? I wouldn't. So it's hard to get onto the list once you fall off.
Yeah. And it says validators 21 out of 22. Are they going to be any more than 22 validators in the network overall? Do you know?
Well, there's 21 active, and anyone could start to compete. So right now, there's only one inactive competing.
Yeah.
Right. So there definitely could be more that, if Trust Wallet decides we're going to run a validator, which they tend to do that, I believe, you'll have a 23, right? And they'll get on the list and probably knock someone else off.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and yeah, the coin percentage of what some node providers hold are quite a lot. Positron, DAO Validator 11, Wolf Edge Labs, they hold 12%, 5.4%. Can validators theoretically just sell all their coins if they don't want to be a validator anymore and they want to say get out of the ecosystem and just sell it? Can they do?
They can only sell the coins they own.
Right? Yeah, because it's other people putting. I see.
Yeah, so if you delegate, they're like, let's just use node providers as an example. That, and again, that's just throwing stuff out here. Like that could be the core team.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's way more. There's obviously, I would guess, because of the disparity here of like 3 million and the next one's 2 million.
Yeah.
There's some large holders in node providers delegating.
Yeah.
I would guess.
Yeah.
Like that big spike is probably when it went to node providers.
Yeah. So, I clicked on punished for Validator 15, which is currently inactive, and I don't see any punishments there.
That's good.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, this is the inactive node at the moment with a very high APR, but again, it's not paying anything out because it's currently inactive. Sorry about. But yeah, I'm looking forward to actually receiving the. Oh, blimey!
He's got to let it out, Tom. It's just a sneeze.
Thank you. So Huobi is still saying to be reviewed, but maybe after Binary X that will happen. Fingers crossed. Mine is still completely on. Oh, I try to keep on muting myself for the sneezes, so apologies if that sort of weirdly cuts in and out. So the withdrawal from Huobi is still on hold. It says to be reviewed. Often this can take a little bit of time withdrawing from exchanges, so fingers crossed that happens soon. But we will see. Is there anywhere else apart from obviously staking your core on stake.coredao.org and also that we looked at briefly, which we personally don't endorse, we're not connected with at all, and it could be risk, ice cream swap? Is there anything else that users of core can do?
Well, I know Midas NFT has launched on core. Those are really the only two. I know probably if we talk with like our writing team, they would know of some. So, I mean, I'm going to really find out about core the way everyone else does. I'm actually just going to watch the BSC news about core, and we'll see the projects come out. There is the our DApp index on our website, which I haven't looked at in a little bit. The Web3 project page. I'm going to pull that up and search by core.
Indeed. We just got a comment on YouTube saying that the core app, the app of core, this is from Jackie Kumar, thank you, for letting us know that the withdrawal option on the application, it looks like Core itself, isn't working. I haven't actually tried to use that yet. Obviously on Huobi, we're experiencing a little bit of a delay, but with centralized exchanges, withdrawing from them can have a little bit of a delay anyway. But yeah, Jackie Kumar, if you could let us know sort of a little bit more in detail, perhaps what you mean. We can, look into this on the stream maybe a bit more. We have got Binary X coming up in the next few minutes as well. But Jackie, thank you very much. Yeah, so the core app withdrawal option not working at the moment for Jackie. Thank you very much. I'm just going to bring up the on the BSC News website the sort of DeFi ranking apologies list. Also, that might just take me a few moments, but I'll be able to have it. Here we go. So Core DAO. Because it's a very new chain. Obviously, there's not that many projects on there at the moment. Ben, do you know are there many projects building on the Core network? Obviously, there's Ice Cream Swap, which have the decks out, but are there any other projects that have built on top of the network? And are there many dApps or applications for DAO? No, yeah, for Core. Sorry, at the moment.
For Core DAO. I'm not totally sure. I've got to do more research into that. I think my focus lately has just been like the delegating.
Yeah.
But that'll be something that I'm sure we'll see over time. Different DEXs, different NFT projects, kind of probably a lending project, and so it'll get there, and we'll definitely cover it as it happens.
Oh, most certainly, yeah. And the price, I don't know. It seems to be reasonably stable at around $4.70 at the moment. I mean, it's very, very early to do any sort of technical analysis, that sort of thing. But I mean, if you're into technical analysis, obviously we're sort of coming to the apex of a triangle. But again, technical analysis, this early on in a tokens release on a 15-minute time frame, it's very iffy. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of hype here, so we will see what happens. Hopefully it goes up, but could go the opposite way. It's crypto, it's a roller coaster, who knows. Anyway, before our guest Binary X comes on, I would like to quickly talk about the sponsor for these live streams, which you might have guessed at the top left is Bloxroot. So Bloxroot, as I've said in earlier streams, hold on, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen quickly, protects you from front-running sandwich attacks, that sort of thing. I'm just going to bring up their logo there. So what you can do, something called BSC Protect RPC, and if you're watching this stream and you're in Core DAO and you've added the Core network to your MetaMask, there's something very similar you can do with the BNB chain. So adding BNB chain to your MetaMask, once again, is very similar to what you do with Core. However, with Bloxroot, you add their custom RPC URL. And I'm going to just quickly put that up on the screen. Hold on. All you need to do is scan the QR code that's down there, and you'll be taken to instructions about how to add that RPC URL to your MetaMask, and then you'll be able to use BNB chain on that network and be protected from front-running sandwich attacks, things like that. If you've ever been on Dex Screener, PooCoin, anywhere that you can sort of see live transactions on the blockchain, you might have seen a very large buy, and then your transaction or another person's transaction, then after that the same address selling, and it looks like they're selling pretty much the same amount. However, they're using your transaction and the slippage amount that you entered to move either way the full slippage amount of your transaction. So you get a bad deal essentially. Their transaction goes in first, then your transaction happens. That slippage, goes all the way up, and they'll sell and bring it right back down again, essentially to the initial price. It drains liquidity from liquidity pairs, and obviously anything that the project's provided as well. However, using Bloxroot BSC Protect, you are protected against that, which is great. So that's Bloxroot there, and they are the sponsor of series of BSC News Live. The QR code is again down at the bottom there, so you can easily scan that whenever you like. However, without further ado, we have Binary X in the house, and Rudy from Binary X. First of all, thank you very, very much for being here, Rudy. It is great to have you here. Welcome to the stream. My name's Tom. This is my colleague Ben, one of the co-founders of BSC News. Would you be able to perhaps firstly introduce yourself and maybe the team at Binary X?
Yeah, sure. Pleasure to be here, guys. I am Rudy. I'm head of Binary X. I work on growth mainly. I joined the field about 2 years ago from Google to really explore, creating games and incorporating these Web3 technologies in them. So far, we have explored different tokenomics, and I'm very excited to share those with you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And would you be able to give us an overview of what Binary X is? What is Binary X?
Absolutely. So Binary X is a GameFi platform behind games like Cyber Dragon and Cyber Chess, both of which run on the BNB chain. We are one of the top 10 projects on the BNB chain GameFi category. And we have a pretty decent community size at about 100,000 token holders. We are floating about 100,000 as well, and also 75,000 active users on our different games. We are one of the largest project by trading volume as well as market cap right now. And yeah, I think that's an overview of Binary X.
Fantastic, thank you. I'll just bring up Binary X, the website, just so we can. I am a little bit behind that advertisement. I'm just going to switch this up a little bit so that's not blocking us. Hold on just a second. There we go. So yeah, I've brought up the website of Binary X, which we'll go through in a little bit more detail shortly. Obviously, you've been listed on Binance for a while as well, which a lot of projects see as the pinnacle of listings, and maybe an end goal, or once you're listed on Binance, you've made it sort of in the crypto world. Would you be able to give us perhaps, or any projects looking to get listed on a large exchange like Binance, any tips and the sort of process that you went through to get listed there?
Well, so we have been listed since 2021 December. It's been a while. I think the market conditions back then were really different as well. And I think anyone on the web, presumably telling you how to list on Binance is going to be a scammer. But I think generally to have a good understanding on, your category, GameFi, for instance, for us, and really paying attention to what your community wants and the kind of product that you roll out. I think there is an article online by CZ on listing tips for Binance. I think one of them, it's really talking about, knowing how to attract users, how to keep them around. So product really matters there. And also the kind of, I guess, engagement you have at the different levels, including your community. I think those are the things that can put together to help you, I guess, build a good foundation to be able to apply to one of their programs or even be scouted in that sense.
Definitely, yeah. And looking at the recent sort of price action of Binary X as well, it's since the beginning of the month, it's been doing very, very well, which is obviously great to see. There's been perhaps a turn in the market since the beginning of the month, but who knows what the future will hold, but this sort of thing is always good to see. With Binary X as well, if we go on games, there are a couple of options, well, 3 options to choose from there, which I'll click on very, very shortly. Would you be able to tell us about each of them? So, for example, if I go on Cyber Dragon, first of all, would you be able to tell us what these are? And, well, firstly, what is Cyber Dragon?
Sure. Cyber Dragon was our first game. We launched it in around September 2021. So this was right before GameFi summer, as you know it. It's one of play-to-earn games that we designed. It's really set in this fantasy world where the NFTs are playable characters, and there are different tasks that you can perform in-game to earn. You can take part in dungeons. There are PvP. And yeah, it's really built around that NFT hero that you play. And yeah, that was our first game out there. It's really, I guess, 2021. We have made updates since then, but generally it's very focused on play to earn.
Great. And obviously you mentioned play to earn. Would you still describe Cyber Dragon as play to earn? And do you think the general concept of play to earn is sustainable?
Yeah, I think the question of sustainability came out, throughout a big part of last year. I think after Axie Infinity, falling and things like that, and the overall crypto market, not doing very well. I think we actually needed to re-explore the concept of play to earn. Today, Cyber Dragon, it's more of like our, I guess, foundation where we build our other games on top of. So for instance, how can we add more utility to the NFTs? How can we add more utility to our tokens, right? In general, I think what we see, in 2021 with Axie Infinity was a phase. It was really built for, it wasn't really sustainable, to be very honest. And there needs to be, I guess, more to those games in terms of the overall project strategy. For us, it's really going into an ecosystem, so continue adding utility into our tokens and our coins, or in really designing more syncs so that the longevity of the games, it's like running a Web2 game as well, right? The longevity, how player retention, going back to the basics of how you run a game, those are in fact more important than what we have seen in terms of like use and things like that.
Most definitely. Thank you. Yeah. So with Axie Infinity, that did spike a large interest in play to earn. We can see that there was huge interest in the AXS token. SLP has been all over the place. Obviously, it's an inflationary token, so that's a little bit different. But yeah, AXS reached an all-time high of 165, and now it's sort of down around 11, reaching a low earlier in the year, if we just change to logarithmic, of $5. So yeah, lots of volatility there. And this sort of shape as well, it does mirror Bitcoin to an extent, but a lot of play to earn and also GameFi games have sort of followed this pattern as well. However, back to Binary X. Obviously, you've got Cyber Chess and Cyber Land as well. Oh, hold on. I'm just going to share the correct tab. Yeah, Cyber Chess. Would you be able to tell us, about Cyber Chess and an overview of this?
Yeah. So for Cyber Chess, we started thinking about a new game and a pivot in our strategy very early on. Last year, so January, when things were starting to shake up, we wanted to design something that has a different, entirely different.
Sorry.
We can just close it. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apologies. I didn't know that would come through.
No worries.
There we go. Okay, Cyber Chess. Sorry, Rudy. Carry on.
Yeah. So Cyber Chess is really what we reimagine. The play, so-called GameFi world to be. You may have seen this term being thrown around, play and earn a lot last year. So I think the main thing was to really push back on, things like yields and things like that, and put gaming at the forefront. So earning is then an option for gamers. If they wish to do so, they can even go for more competitive, prize money where they need to invest more in the games. But when we were designing Cyber Chess, we intentionally had a few design principles. One of them is to keep the cost really low. There's no initial investments, as you can see, from other games such as XC, where you need to buy the playable NFTs. In terms of other design philosophies, we also wanted the game to be more strategical and, I guess more gameplay complexity. This was a clear want from our community. And lastly, it's really to increase our production value for games, right? We started out, creating a very simple game in terms of visuals and graphic. We wanted to, improve and challenge ourselves on that aspect. So that was really how Cyber Chess came about. This game was launched in September last year. So much of the dust, I guess, has cleared from the whole Axie Infinity episode. So the game is largely free to play. Earning is optional. Investment into the game is optional. You only invest in new, I guess, chess pieces or heroes in this case, when you want to add variability to your gameplay. So we are really seeing, all types of users now, not just those who are here to earn, those who are here to just play for free with friends. I think they are really welcome as well. And we intentionally reduce the barrier to entry significantly. So today, just a MetaMask wallet, you can connect and start playing.
Very nice. One thing that I thought of when I looked at the gameplay, sort of, with the little health bars above the characters and stuff, for instance, what's on the screen now, it is a game that's also very popular in a lot of regions where play to earn or was popular, which is the Philippines. And there's a game that's very popular. I play it as well. Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and they have relatively recently released a sort of chess, Mobile Legends chess. It's not chess. It's a sort of turn-based strategy game, top-down. Sort of where you take up certain sections of a battlefield. Did games like that, Mobile Legends chess, have any influence on creating Binary X Cyber Chess at all?
I think our biggest influence, to be really honest, was Teamfight Tactics, Total Underlord, so the auto chess-based games. To us, those games, we talked to our community, and we also realized that those games appeal to a larger crowd. For instance, if you are really casual and you're just in to play a quick game, you can actually do that. Or that you can have a very competitive rank mode where players climb up the ladder. So I think that is, I guess, what we were gunning for, generally appealing to as broad of a crowd as possible when designing these games.
Fantastic. And on to the subject of a broad crowd. How and where can the game be played? Can it be played, for instance, in a browser? Is it available on mobile devices? And how would someone delve into the world of cyber chess?
Yeah, for now, I think since launch, it's available on web and mobile. It's pretty optimized to play through your Trust Wallet browser or your MetaMask browser. In fact, most of our players are playing through the mobile web. We are also working on an Android app that will follow up. I think generally there are some complications with the Apple app side, but I think generally catering to that crowd. And in fact, our demographic are mostly, mobile first countries. So that's where our real focus are in terms of platform.
Very good. Yeah, no, I do think mobile gaming it's very easy just to jump in and out of. You don't have to start up at a computer. Well, firstly, have a computer, and then sit there, wait for it to load up, that sort of thing. But yeah, with a mobile, anywhere you are, load it up. Yeah, and also, yeah, you mentioning on the Apple App Store, it's notoriously hard for any crypto applications
Yep.
to get listed there. They're incredibly strict. So Android, I use an Android. I know a lot of my colleagues use an Apple iPhone, but I'm an Android man. So that's fantastic to hear. And obviously you have Cyberland as well, and this looks, well, really, really interesting indeed. Quite incredible. Some of the screenshots remind me of Monster Hunter World. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about Cyberland?
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned last year, one of our targets was to really expand our, developer side of the house. So we have been, expanding, hiring lots of game developers in the traditional gaming space. And we wanted to make a game that, represents that effort, right? So with Cyberland, it's an immersive open world, free to play, and also play to own. So we are exploring a new, I guess, tokenomic in that sense. It's really about owning a piece of land, in an open world, world building in nature. So you can, go to war with different kingdoms. You can just build up your economic powerhouse. I guess you can do anything in that world, right? And again, we are, like cyber chess, we are tapping into the foundations that we have laid with Cyber Dragon. So those NFTs that are available in the past or even now, the tokens, they will find new utility and use cases in this game and all our games going forward.
Yeah, it looks very good. I'm going to play the little sort of Cyberland video here as well. I am streaming with a 350 megabit per second upload speed, so it should be able to display correctly everywhere from where people are watching. Rudy and Ben, it might be a little bit broken up for your viewing, but hopefully for the viewers at home, they'll be able to see it correctly. I'm just going to try and change the view of this. Yes, we can perhaps get a little better view. So I'll just quickly play the video that's on the site of Cyberland. Bear with me just a moment. And if I go full screen, here we go. Very cool. That really, really excites me. I think, that looks really good. So can we? Well, are there any dates that you've got? For an initial release? I know with game development, especially with a game that has the potential, looks as impressive as this. Giving dates can be a little bit risky because game development, basically just takes as long as it takes. But I'm quite excited to play it, and I want to play it. Is there a date that we can look forward to with maybe an alpha or even a beta release of this?
Unfortunately, I don't have a date that I can share right now.
No,
it's one of the more complex games that we have been developing. I think we put quite a lot of effort into this game, but generally, I think you can expect more releases on our end, not specifically Cyberland yet. But this one, it's going to take a while. I would say probably the second half of the year.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. So sort of from looking at it, you know, I'd, you know, maybe 2025
like
even.
Skyrim and Minecraft, right?
Yeah, and like when he was chopping the wood, it looked like you know, the graphics of, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2, that sort of thing, and you know, looking at, you know, the different things that potentially, you know, you can do in this world, and obviously merged with crypto, very exciting stuff, indeed. And I was gonna ask something else, but it's completely gone from my mind. I assume this is going to be on PC.
Yeah. For now, I think the main development is in PC, but we are not ruling out that.
Fine. Okay. And do you know what game engine is built in or on? For instance, you know, Unity, Unreal, and everything in between.
Right now, it's Unreal. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Impressive. Yeah. Yeah. You must have some very intelligent game devs. Obviously, yeah. C++, which I've never been able to get my head around. C# a little bit. I've managed to decipher, but yeah, Unreal. Yeah, very good stuff. And how big is the game development team working on Cyberland at the moment? Obviously, you know, I don't want to know if they're like 6 foot or 5 foot, but how many people are there within the game development team?
I think for now we only have 15 for Cyberland. We do have, you know, other engineers designing all the different games, which hopefully you'll hear of soon.
Yeah, I mean, you say only 15, but in comparison to say, well, particularly GameFi crypto projects, 15 for a game development team is a lot. And you know, with this trailer, I'm very, very excited, Rudy. And what we saw there, was that potentially in-game footage? Is that what potentially it could be like when you're playing the game?
It's going to be close. Yeah.
Great. Okay. No, that's fantastic to hear. You know, I could talk a lot more about the different sort of products and things you offer within Binary X. Obviously, you know, you've got a whole marketplace as well, and on top of that, other products as well, yeah, such as the LPs and that sort of thing. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about that I haven't brought up at all? You know, that I've missed that, you know, is of note and worth?
Yeah. So I think you showed the price chart just now. I think generally I can give you a quick update. We announced today that we will be kickstarting our process for the token split. So in terms of the token split, I guess the reason behind it is really over the course of last year, we saw a huge inflow of users from many parts of the world that we will, I guess, previously not our users, right? India, Pakistan, Indonesia, Thailand, and Turkey, to name a few. So along with all these new products that are coming in, it made sense to split our token to reduce the barrier of entry to many of these countries, one of them being Nigeria as well. So for us, we consulted, you know, we put out this idea to our community and we put, you know, it into a DAO vote. And majority, you know, in fact, everyone wanted, almost 97% wanted the token split. So we are splitting our governance token BNX from 1 to, you know, 100. And that is a significant move on our end. We believe that, you know, there are many possibilities post-split and allowing us room to really innovate with our tokenomics, for instance. So for now, we are exploring, you know, play and earn, play to own things and different concepts. So we can't wait to explore more of those with different communities that we have built up over the course of last year. That's I guess main thing that we are going through right now. There's also another wing, another team within Binary X working on the IGO platform. So we are really moving from a single game developer to a GameFi platform. So what that means is that you will see more games released by Binary X on one hand, and on the other hand, we will be helping incubate games, or launch games through our platform. Right, we have a very strong community of token holders. And I guess it's really about what we want to do, right? We want to add diversity to the space. Like I mentioned, for Cyber Chess, we have growing demographic and players, are interested in different types of gameplay. And this is such a young industry right now. So we want to bring diversity to the space through, creating new games on our end and bringing in new games through our IGO platform. So that is really the strategy that we have set up for last year, in fact, in March. And I think we are, we have been constantly delivering in terms of, products and in terms of our overall vision.
Most certainly. Yeah, we can see that from, obviously Cyberland and everything that you've been doing as well. Would you just be able to explain to us, or perhaps listeners that aren't too familiar with the Binary X platform, what exactly you mean by, and maybe a little bit more in depth, by a token split, and what that's going to involve?
Yeah, so the current governance token is called BNX. The current price, as you can see on screen, is about 115, 20?
126.6 right now on Binance. Yeah.
Yeah, so we decided to split that. So post-split, it will be $1.25 divided by 100.
I get it. Okay.
So the lower denominations will allow us to create more consumption scenarios. Our new users from the demographic that I have mentioned previously, I guess it's very different from our core base, right? In the past, we were having a lot of users in Singapore, China, Taiwan, Japan, and Korea. So I think it's really to balance out all the new users as well as the old users, and to create something new as well, right? So that is really the impetus behind the token split.
Interesting. And will you do that just by, from a technical perspective? Are you just going to change the decimal number in, when you add a token in MetaMask, decimal, and you enter 18 normally? Are you just going to change that, or from a technical perspective, how is it going to work?
So there will be an entirely new contract, a new token. It will be named BNX as well. There will be a converter where users can then convert those coins 1 to 100. I think if you are a DeFi user, you can use the converter. If you are a centralized exchange user, we are currently working with 14 centralized exchange to make sure that this doesn't impact users in any ways.
Very good. And obviously you're listed everywhere, or well, not everywhere, because new exchanges pop up every day. But Binance, KuCoin, obviously PancakeSwap, DeFi as well, Gate, BitGet, BKX, LBank. I do like LBank. I've used it for a long time. I was a bit wary about using it at first, but I found them, I'm a bit of a low-key fan of LBank. Tokyo Crypt, CoinX, IndoDAX, BuySwap, and everything sort of under the sun. And you can see there, listeners, viewers on CoinMarketCap, where they're listed. With the current BNX token, how long, or do you have plans to close or take away liquidity from BNX and put it in the new split token? Is there going to be a certain time frame that people have to claim the new tokens at all?
Yeah. So I think we are coordinating with a lot of exchanges right now to make this happen. The exact date where this converter will happen will be announced very, very soon. from there, I think in terms of liquidity and the back end, we will generally scale down based on how much they are swapping the coins. And on our end, definitely we will put in part of our treasury to maintain that level of liquidity on both ends. So I think generally it's quite a tough job. Like when I first we were first discussing about how to implement this, it's really like, oh, we're just changing the decimal, right? But on the back end, those box tasks start to stack up. So I think the whole team right now is busy with this. Along with the token split, we are going to announce some games as well, some new games as well. So I think I guess you'll get the first if you follow us on Twitter. I think that's generally where you can get all our announcement, including information on the token split if you are a holder. It's binary_X on Twitter.
Fantastic. Yeah. binary_X on Twitter. That is BinaryX. But no, it's very interesting. I think what you're doing as well, with the token, essentially it's going to be the same, but psychologically you're going to have more. So you're going to have the same value, but instead of just maybe 1 or 2 BNX tokens, you'll have 10 or 20. It's clever. Very interesting. Ben, have you got anything to ask at all, or raise with BinaryX whilst they're here?
No, I really don't. I've just been listening and learning. So I will say
Fantastic.
that the game you showed the video on looks super cool. It almost reminds me, I'm like well less versed in the gaming space. It reminds me a bit of like first person Age of Empires, if that existed, like with the building,
right,
and all
wow,
that.
classic.
And course, yeah, that was like actually one game I played consistently throughout my life, so that's pretty cool. And other than that, it looks like in the play to earn or play and earn or play and own, the game has to come first before the tokenomics, and it looks like that's what you guys are doing. So that was kind of my 2 cents. But yeah, this has really been time for me to learn about it, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. No, yeah, definitely. I do understand. Yeah, Age of Empires was a very large part of my childhood, as well as Red Alert, Rise of Nations. Oh man, too much time spent gaming. BinaryX, thank you very, very much for your time, and listeners as well. I hope you've learned quite a bit about BinaryX. I certainly have, and I definitely am looking forward to Cyberland and finding out about the token split as well. And Rudy, before we say cheerio and goodbye, is there anything that you'd like to bring up at all?
Yeah, I think generally it's a right analysis, right? Post XC, we are really seeing an over pivot into game development, like the quality of the game, the quality of the product. But I think be it you're on the game side or the FI side, generally it's creating something that works on both ends. So we are very focused in terms of other than just launching a cool game, the economics really got to work. So I think that focus, if any GameFi is anyone is interested in launching a GameFi, I think generally that's the focus that we have. In terms of, I think it's going to be an exciting year for us. We only just got started this year with this token split. I think, like you mentioned, psychologically, it's like you're having more BNX. In reality, you have the same, but it's the spend and the sinks that we can build from there, the spending scenarios, they're going to change drastically. What can BNX be used for? Instead of creating lots of, smaller currencies, right? We do have one, which is gold right now. But generally, I think the more sustainable way is to really build for the demographic that you have, as well as listen to your community in terms of what kind of games and products they want to see. And it's a early time in this space. So we're going to see a lot more games coming very soon.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. Well, thank you very, very much again for your time, Rudy. It's been very interesting. And yeah, we certainly will be following the developments and updates of Binary X, and perhaps when more things are released and there are more updates, we can do this again. But it's been a real pleasure talking, Rudy. Thank you very much for your time, and yeah, speak soon, Rudy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone, for that. Yeah, obviously that was Binary X, Rudy. Very interesting stuff there. With the Cyberland, that looks, personally, I think, great. It would be good to see that come to fruition when it's ready. Yeah, game development obviously can take some time. Quickly back to what we were doing earlier in the stream, which is withdrawing core. Unfortunately, it's still to be reviewed. Yeah, so it's taking a while. So fingers crossed, it's going to be sent. Well, it's going to be with us shortly. So yeah, my withdrawal just says to be reviewed, and I assume that's the same with you, Ben, as well. Yeah, we'll be able to get on that tomorrow. But apologies for trying to. Well, I mean, no, we did learn quite a lot about staking with core and stuff. So it's not. We haven't just been sitting here waiting for the core to withdraw from Huobi. But Huobi, I'm sure you're listening, looking, watching. Please hurry up and withdraw our core.
Please review.
Yeah, this one person just sitting there going through all these transactions, reviewing them. Please approve it and send us our core. However, I'd just like to mention again, this BSC News Lives are sponsored by Bloxroot. It does prevent you from front-running sandwich attacks. It's completely free to retail users like myself. And perhaps you as well. All you need to do is add this custom RPC URL to your MetaMask address. Benjamin, Benjo, Benno, before we end the stream, is there anything that you'd like to say? Any closing thoughts, any closing words?
I don't think so. Just gonna keep on. And we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll probably have our core tomorrow.
Fingers
Hopefully
crossed.
By tomorrow.
Hopefully. Yeah. Well, keep on trucking, everyone. Try not to be too down about the withdrawal of cores. It will happen. Speak soon and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye all. Ciao.